Hi, it's Jesse from Smart Dolphins, and today I'm going to talk a little bit more about my favorite topic lately, multi-factor authentication, and how to implement it properly in a business that's running the Microsoft tools such as Office 365. So to recap what multi-factor is, it's a security measure that you can put in place in addition to a username and password. It creates a third piece of the pie, essentially, for somebody to log into an account. What's really common is that people will lose their username and passwords to a phishing attack, such as a bad email that gets through. They click on a link, they type their username and password into a fake website or however it happens, and they lose their username and password to somebody on the other side of the world who then uses it to log in and, conduct phishing scams or all sorts of nasty things. It's really not something that you want to have happen to you, and it's by far the most common thing that we see in small businesses. So multi-factor is, it sort of easily fits into the 80-20 rule of best practices. You put in 20% of the effort and you get 80% of the benefit, and should absolutely be something that everybody is thinking about today. So there's a couple ways to implement multi-factor. There's kind of the sort of old, pretty good way, and there's the newer, better way. The old, pretty good way would be to have the IT department enable multi-factor on user accounts on a one-off basis, help people log in, set up their multi-factor, etc. That works pretty good, except the IT department is prone to human errors. Users are prone to human errors, and what can happen in that situation is you end up with most people on multi-factor, but some people end up not having it, and essentially it's very easy to then leave some cracks in the cybersecurity. What we really prefer is to have a technical policy in place that covers the whole environment that says, hey, if you don't have multi-factor set up, you can't log in. So what we're going to talk about today is how to implement that using something called a conditional access policy. The conditional access policy is a service that Microsoft provides as part of one of their subscriptions that allows you to put essentially what's an if-then statement rule in place to apply security to your cloud accounts. So in this situation, we would say, hey, if a user wants to connect to the Microsoft 365 email box, etc., they need to have multi-factor enabled, and if they don't, they can't log in. This is easily the number one most important and easy way to secure yourself in Microsoft, is to use these conditional access policies. In order to get access to these, you need something called an Azure AD Premium P1 license. So if you're using 365, you'll already have an Azure AD account that's running for free, that's sort of supporting your 365 tenant. P1 is a paid version of Azure AD, which gives you the conditional access rules. You can buy it standalone for about $770 or so per month per user. The best option that we typically would suggest for small businesses is the Microsoft 365 Business Premium license. It actually comes with your Azure P1 subscription. It also comes with Office and email and Teams and all that other good stuff that most companies want. So Business Premium is a great option. If you've got mobile workers or email only or cell phone only employees, you can use a slightly cheaper version called F3, which gives you something similar for about $10 a month. So just a quick look at what conditional access rules look like. So we come into the Azure platform. We are going to create our new rule. We're going to say this applies to all or most of my users. And then we're going to configure what cloud applications it applies to. So in this example, we're talking about Microsoft 365. And then we're going to say, in order to access these accounts, we need to have multi-factor in place. What's interesting about these rules and what's cool about them is we can also add other conditions to the rule to make the policy a little bit more secure, or also a little bit easier. An example of making it easier would be you could configure the main office in here as an option, and you could say, hey, if somebody's in the main office, they don't need multi-factor. We're not worried about anybody phishing their account when they're inside the office. Or you could even make that circle wider, and you could say they don't need multi-factor if they're inside of Canada, right? So we're only worried about the rest of the world. Now that would be something I wouldn't suggest. I think the in-office option is good. I think another option you might use is if I'm on my company computer, then I don't need multi-factor, but you probably don't want to go too far beyond that. So conditional access rules can make security not only more consistent, but they can also make it easier for people. So yeah, that's essentially what I wanted to talk about today. Hopefully this was valuable. If you have any questions, feel free to fire them over to Smart Dolphins and we can help you out. Thank you.